Hello and welcome back to School Life. In our last video, we were able to create our users table, and in this video, we're going to show you how to dynamically fetch all the users on the users table from your database and display them at the front end here. So let's get started. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is to initiate our database connection. All right. So before we do that, I'd like us to do something. Instead of manually moving our database connection across each files. So I want us to use a PHP function or a PHP tool to do that. So we're going to create a new file in our root folder, and we're going to name it db, which is database.php, and we'll save that. So inside of db.php, we're going to create a PHP tag. So we're just going to copy our database connection, which is this. We're going to move it, actually, not just copy. We paste it in here and save. All right. So once we do that, we close. So inside of here, we're just going to call it in. So we're going to include it into this file. So we're just going to say require. Once we say require db.php. So this function helps us to include this file and all of the code in this file in our register.php. Okay. So just to test that out, let's go to our index.php and let's add a new user. Let's say, just like we said, unique praise. So we click on submit. Okay, it says failed to open file. Yeah, so that's because we are not calling the correct file path, and that's because register.php is inside backend, and for us to register.php is inside backend and db is outside of backend. So we need to move a step outside of this. So how do we do that? We say 2 dots and a /. Okay. So once we refresh, yeah, it's working correctly. So we go back and refresh. We see we have unique praise. So our code is still working. All right. So that is that. So the next thing we need to do is just require db.php inside of our users.php. So we're going to say db.php. So we are not moving a step back because users.php is in the same folder with db.php. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, we just want to write some code to fetch the data. So how do we do that? So we just go back to our register.php. Let's copy just this first, our SQL statement, and paste it. So let's take this out. Inside of users.php at the top, we do this. So we're going to change the SQL, just the SQL here. So inside of the code, you're going to say select all. So asterisk stands for all from. So what is the name of our table? The name of our table is users. So we're just going to say from users. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to execute the statements like this. Statement execute. So the select statement is easier, and we're going to store it instead of here. We're going to say result equal to, so that's the variable statement. Once our SQL is executed, we want to fetch the result. Okay, so we're going to say like this, fetch all. All right, so let's do something for practice base. Let's go here and copy this. So we want to print it to the screen before going further. All right, So you remember this function, the print r function, we use it to print an array. So select all from users is going to select all the users from the database, and it's going to come as an array. So we're just going to print out the results variable, which is our array of all the users. So once we refresh the users table, so let's go to view users. So yeah, so it's going to fetch out all the users from the table, and you see it's an array of arrays. Okay, so you see the first user and so on and so forth. Okay, but we don't want these are raw data. We just want to display them inside of our table, and we're going to do that in the next 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, and if you see at the top, we still have our echo, and this is coming from our database connection, right, which is in sitedb.php. So it says connected successfully. So let's comment that out. So we don't want that displaying on our code. All right, so once we refresh, that goes off. All right, so let's go ahead and fetch the data I'm displaying on the table. So just comment this out. So all we need to do is take out these rows. We just need one of them because they're going to be coming in dynamically. All right, so we're just going to write a PHP code for you. So we're going to be introducing a PHP function or tool called the loop. Okay, PHP loop. So to learn more about PHP loop, you can go to W3 School and type in PHP loop W3 schools. So we're going to be working with for each loop. So click on for each loop. And so what is a for each loop? A for each loop loops through a block of code for each element in an array. All right, so for each data in our table, we want to loop and display them on this table. All right, so we're going to say PHP, we're going to say for each, okay, for each results, for each variable results as key, so variable key as key to, so let's make it users. Okay, let's say user. All right, just like this. So open our curly bracket. I'll come here at the bottom and close it for each loop. We'll do PHP and close it, and that is all. So what we're saying is for each user that we're fetching from here, so we want to pass each user and store them in this variable here. Okay, so if you look at our array, so we have array of users. So we are saying for each user here, which is the result as user. Okay, let's change this to make it more simple. Let's call this users. Okay, this is an array of all the users. So we'll change this to users. Okay, for each users as user. Okay, so this key is just holding the ID. Okay, this key. So this is the key at the index 0. Okay, this is the key. Sorry, this is 0, 1, 2. Okay, so let's go ahead. You understand as we go further. So all we need to do now is we start echoing each of the values. So we'll do it like this: PHP echo key. All right, so we echo the key here. We close. So the next thing we want to echo, it's the first name. So we're just going to say user. So the user first name. All right, so you just don't write anything here. So we go with the index. So once you go here, you say, okay, we want to get the index, which is the first name. You get the first name. The next thing is the last name. Okay, we go back to our code. We want to echo the user's last name. And we change this to last name. And that is that. Okay. So once we do this and refresh our page, this is what we have. So this looks fine. These are all the users from our database. Okay. So they have been populated. They have populated our table dynamically. So if you go to our database, yeah, this is what we have. We have Paul, James, and the last person we have here, it's Unique Praise. So, and that is correct. We have Unique Praise. But if you look at the database, you see we have 1 to 10, and our users table here, we have 0 to 9. And that is because in programming, we start counting from 0. But there's a way to tweak this so that it starts counting from 1. So all we need to do is come here and echo this. On this key, we say echo key plus 1 and save. So once we refresh, it starts counting from 1. So it's saying 0 plus 1. This one was 1 before, say 1 plus 1, which is 2, 2 plus 1, 3, and so on and so forth. So dynamically, this is what we have. So yeah, we've successfully fetched our users from the database and display them on the front end. And you see, this is quite simple. You just need to study the codes properly. So you see our table is kind of small. If we want to adjust the width of our table, we just have to change it here with this Bootstrap class. If we change it to 12, it's going to expand to the entire width of the container which we have. You see, it's bigger and it's wider now. And that's because we have our container at the top here. So it's expanding to the full width of the container, which is 12. Okay. If you want it to be 8, you can just play around with it, make it 8, and yeah, it becomes 8. All right. So that is that for this tutorial. So in our next tutorial, we're going to learn how to edit each of the user's input. Like you can see now, for instance, we have Paul James twice. Let's say we were trying to add someone else and we mistakenly added Paul James twice. So we can now edit the second Paul James and to the correct name we want to add. Or we can actually delete, but we're going to move on to the edit method first. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in